does the Bible say about retirement? Is retirement even mentioned in the Bible? Actually, the Bible does have something to say about retirement, and it might actually shock you. Jesus talked about retirement perfectly. Somebody came to him and said, Jesus, I need you to help me divide the inheritance between me and a family member. And Jesus looked at the guy and said, I'm not the judge, I'm not the arbiter. And then he proceeded to go on and tell this story about a guy who crushed it in his business. He had so many crops coming out that he thought to himself, what am I gonna do with all this extra grain? I know I will tear down my barns and build bigger barns, and I will say to myself, you crushed it, dude. Take it easy. Eat and be merry, for you have years worth of abundance for your future. And Jesus said to that guy, you are a fool. You didn't even know that your life was going to be required of you this day. And then what's going to happen with all this abundance? The point is, it's not just about storing up for yourselves years worth of abundance so that you can just take it easy and have a grand old time. Now, it's not wrong if you have a bunch of money and you are able to take life easy, but God gives us some instructions on how to steward or manage this wealth. In fact, we get the 3 instructions from God through 1 Timothy chapter 6. Beginning in verse 17, Paul instructs, he says, command those who are rich in this present world not to be arrogant, not to put their hope in wealth, which is so uncertain, but to put their hope in God, who richly provides us with everything for our enjoyment. The first instruction regarding retirement in the Bible is number 1, hope in God, not in your finances. Because if your finances are good and you place your trust in it, then you're not placing your trust in God. And when finances are bad, you lose your identity. So it's very important that your hope, your faith is not placed in the resources themselves, but rather the giver of those resources. The second thing he instructs is command them to do good and to be rich in good deeds. If you have money and you have the ability to be freed up to do the things that you're still called to do, just because you're in your 60s or 70s doesn't mean that God doesn't have a purpose for you. If you have breath in your lungs, he has an assignment that he wants you to fulfill. And so he wants you to do good. Maybe that's doing good with your time. Maybe that's doing good with your resources. Maybe that's taking in kids who don't have a dad, or maybe it's helping out at an organization or a charity that is near and dear to your heart. Whatever it may be, he wants us to do good. There needs to be fruit from our lives. You'll know a tree by their fruit. So number 2, it's to do good and be rich in good deeds. The third instruction that God wants us to do in retirement is to be generous and willing to share. Billy Graham said, you will know a measure of a man's faith by looking at his pocketbook. What are you giving to? What are the things that you purchase on an ongoing basis? Whatever your priority is, there will your treasure or your heart be also. It's all about being generous and willing to share. Doesn't mean you have to give all your money away, and it doesn't mean that you have to give until you have nothing left, but the point is you're willing to share. You're willing to give as the Lord lays on your heart some compassion for an individual or a cause. And then he wraps it up by saying, in this way, they will lay up treasure for themselves as a firm foundation for the coming age, so that they may take hold of the life that is truly life. When we go home to heaven, we're going to wish that we had laid up for ourselves treasures in heaven, not just on earth. In fact, he says to provide for yourselves purses in heaven that moth and rust don't destroy. So it's having a 401k or an IRA in heaven that never goes down in a market crash. Jerome Powell and the Fed can't destroy it. Inflation doesn't put a dent in your heavenly 401k. Let's just give God 30 seconds of praise for no inflation in heaven. So there we have it. It's that simple. It's not all about consuming in self-indulgence and selfishness the resources that we've worked hard for. It's about, number 1, remembering that it comes from God. Number 2, you do good with it now that you're freed up. And number 3, be willing to share and be generous. This is how you have a satisfying and fulfilling retirement.